Okay, here we go. Let's get started with this thing. Alright, get rid of the music. Alright, well, this is what you see when you open up pretty much any 3D modeling thing, especially in this. It starts with the old default cube, which you always destroy, no matter what. Even if you might have to spawn a cube later, still just destroy. Alright, well, okay, well, let's get this thing set up. So first we're going to be making a mortar. So it's a German. Did I turn off the... Hold on, let me just do it myself. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first we're going to be working on a German mortar from World War II. So I'm just opening up a few different windows here that I can basically set these things to UV image editor, and then I can open up what I have prepared. So I have a few reference images already loaded up, and we're just gonna go off these because it's, because these aren't gonna be like super highly detailed. They're just gonna be more of like a representation, but they'll still be pretty cool once we add like textures and stuff. So okay, so we have a front view and kind of like a rear, basically just from a different perspective. So essentially, if like you look at something like this, you can see it's essentially just one huge tube with this kind of a square, plate at the back, and then it has another tube running down here, and then it has the two legs of the bipod, and then it has a couple other little pieces which we could also have. It seems to have something at the back here just to kind of hold into the ground, and it looks like it has some kind of like a ball and socket joint, which I guess we could just have a little like a sphere or something right there would kind of represent that pretty well. So yeah, and I can open up these two things. Yeah, so I mean, obviously I'm using the old version of Blender because I'm kind of a cretin and I haven't upgraded it yet. I have not upgraded yet. I don't want to upgrade because I don't know how to use the new one. All right, so first thing we're going to start off with is the tube. So we're going to add in a cylinder, obviously, because it's just a cylinder. And this starts with 32 side faces. So this is going to be viewed from pretty far away. So I think we need to bring it down to like 16, just to save on some geometry in the scene. So I'm going to go into orthographic view, and I'm just going to scale it correctly. So scale it down, do something like this, and then scale it on the z-axis. Oh, kind of jumped there. So yeah, I mean, so obviously this is going to be more of like a highball job, so it's not going to be totally accurate, but that's okay for what this is going to be. So okay, so this is good for the tube. So we're just going to start with this, and we're just going to keep kind of blocking out like the essential shapes. So second piece is the back plate, and I can go into wireframe mode just to kind of see where it lands, and we're just going to scale it down in the z-axis because those plates are pretty, they're not too thin. They do have a little, like if you look down here, it has a little bit of a thickness. I think that's maybe part of how it's constructed. But so we're going to represent it like this, and then if you look at the width of it up here, you can see it basically, if you look at it, it basically looks like it's about that big. You can kind of use your intuition to figure that out. And if you look at it does seem to be more wide than it is in the other axis. So we're gonna go into normal mode. So this is about maybe a little less than max like that. So that's about the right scale there. And then so we need to decide which side's the front. So okay, this is the front view. So go into right side mode, and then we can add this little thing at the back, which what we're going to do for that is we're just going to insert a loop here so it's about the same width, and then we're just going to extend the vertices in the back. We'll just go down straight into the ground, maybe scale it on the Y so it kind of creates that kind of spike. And that's basically what the back, oh, and maybe move it out. We can move it out a little bit. So it doesn't quite look like that, does it? It looks like it kind of comes out. If you rotate this, that. And this seems to be, you know, this actually seemed to be a little bit thinner in the picture, so I think we're going to thin it a little bit. That. Okay. So yeah, that's about what this is, essentially. And if you want to get cool with it, oh, let me make sure I can see if you're good to go. Okay, just see if I can. Yeah, I can see the stream. So if you look at this thing, it has kind of some notches, so you can count them out. So we need one there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts. And then go in here and basically just do this. So, and those look all evenly spaced. So we're just going to do this. Watch this. This is pretty good. So if you select these, you can hit G twice. I don't know if this works in the new version, but you can hit that and basically you can slide. It's being troublesome. Let me try this. Oh, it's not letting me slide up. That's ridiculous. Well, we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is basically you have to align your view, and then you can manually move it. This. That's okay. This isn't going to be totally accurate here. This is just going to get close. This doesn't have to be totally. There we go. Perfect. So that goes up. And you can see it's not completely how it looks in the image, but it's close. And then these side two, we can move those up too. Move those up a bit too. That. Okay. Oh. That looks okay for the back. Just for now. This is not too accurate here. We're just trying to get everything kind of shaped up first. Maybe move it in a little bit more actually. It's kind of like halfway. That. There. Okay. That looks okay. It's not completely the same, but it's close. It's getting there. Okay, that's the back plate. And it seems to have a handle and stuff in the back. I guess so for when they're carrying it around. But I don't know if I'm going to add that in because that's kind of like a tertiary kind of thing you would add in. So here what we can do is, so you see how it kind of attaches like that? So basically this is actually supposed to be kind of set off. So let's move this up. Grab it, move it in the Z direction, scale it up a bit, and then we're going to add, I'm going to snap cursor to selected. And then I'm going to add a UV sphere, but we're going to bring it down way down and do 8 and 4. So this is going to be, but it's going to be small, so that's the point. It's going to be really small down here. That might have been too extreme. Hold on, let's redo that. That was too extreme. Because if you get close, you'll be able to see that. Okay, we'll do 16 and 8. There, that looks a little bit better. It's down here. And this, we can actually cut this thing in half because you're only going to ever see the top part of it. So I'm just going to do that right now. Delete those vertices. Like that. Then you can scale it down and it'll maintain its dimensions. So the safety bolt, whatever it's called, looks like it's about here. And this just attaches to it. So let's just add that in real quick. Move it up a bit. We're just going to select the bottom face of this, extrude it out, and then scale it down so it looks like it kind of attaches. See what I mean? Because if you look down here, it does have like this additional kind of thing around it, which we can add that into. But for now, let's just stick with the really simple shapes like this. Okay. You know, this almost looks too long if you look at it. It almost looks a little too long. Well, maybe it's because maybe it's because it's straight up and down. And also, I feel like these front two vertices here could kind of move in a bit. I feel like that's kind of more how the picture looks. It's kind of curved in if you look up here. That looks pretty close. Of course, it looks a little too sharp and stuff, but that's all right. Oh, and then since we just adjusted that, we should probably move these back in too. That. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. So next thing up here, we're gonna add some crap up here that sort of looks like it's attached, and then we're gonna add this as another tube, and then the two leg tubes, and then there's gonna be like a block right here. So we're gonna have two blocks. We're gonna have a tube here. That's the traversing hand wheel or whatever. We're gonna have a tube there, and then two for the feet, and we're just gonna copy those two over once we already create them. So go into side view, excuse me, front view. And snap cursor selected again, because that just makes it so it's all centered up. And then, so we're gonna create the traversing hand wheel tube. So create another cylinder. We're gonna bring this down to 8 faces, because it's gonna be pretty small. Bring it up. It looks like it's about this set off from the top. Obviously it's scaled way down. Rotated about the y-axis 90 degrees. Scaled out, because it seems to pop out like maybe about that much. No, kind of guessing here, but it's gonna look pretty close. That's the whole point of this. So we go to the side view and pop that out. Actually, that kind of comes off, and then there's more stuff up here which we can add so it'll look correct. It almost looks kind of bigger in the picture. This looks like that big. Well, you don't want it to be as big as the tube. That's too big. Okay, let's try it like this. Because this, you know, this is going to be seen from pretty far away, so there's no reason to go crazy here. Go crazy. Then we're going to add some more kind of critter crap at the top. Make it look like there's like more stuff attached, you know. Kind of like that. And then from there, we're going to add the bipod. So we're going to add another tube. We're going to use this same tube here. We're just going to copy this thing. No reason to go crazy with it. And if you look at this, we're going to have that start. That is definitely thinner though. You can tell that that's a thinner tube. It's like this thin. So you can tell that. And that's going to start in there. And then we're going to grab the faces on the side. Move that about this far down. That looks about right. And then so there's another one of these little rectangles further down. So we're just going to grab that one. So it has a little bit of an offset from this tube. There's the rectangle. And that's about as thin as the block itself. So we'll do that. Get it lined up. Maybe bring this out a bit more. Okay, so that's this piece here. We can't, this view here became kind of not as useful. So we're gonna keep going off this one. So that's that little piece here, and that's where the two legs attach from. So we'll duplicate this. Now we're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna snap selected. I need to get this right. And then, no, that's the wrong keybind. This is a crazy one. It's Control Shift Alt C. Origin to 3D cursor. Then you can rotate. Well, yeah, we don't need to be rotating this way because this, you know, it's all in the same line, but we can go to the top view and then we can rotate. I don't know, it looks like 45 degrees. Kind of. Maybe a little less. Yeah, that could be right. Now the problem is we should probably extend it as far as we want first and then rotate, just so it just kind of saves you some hassle. So these things almost look to be about the size of this here, that extent. So we just kind of need to guess here because we don't have any sort of accurate measurements. They look about like that big. They look about this big. And at the bottom, extrude and create the cuff at the bottom, just like that. So that's pretty simple. And so once we have one, go to the top view, rotate 45 degrees, duplicate, rotate negative 45 degrees. Ooh, right, you need to rotate another negative 45 degrees, negative 90 degrees total. That. And if you look in the picture, they're actually off spaced. They're more like this. They're more attached kind of at the sides, not directly in the middle like that. So that was a mistake. You do it like this. And then we're just going to do this all by eye. Or actually, if we line up this line like that, then we can do the same over here, and it'll be exactly the same. Of course, it could be off by like a, you know, fraction of a millimeter, but who's going to know? Right? So, see, these almost seem like they're rotated out too far. But, you know, we have this, so we have this thing set, so whenever we rotate, it'll rotate off that point. So we can always just go and set them however we want. So rotate negative 10 degrees maybe. That looks cool. Rotate 10 degrees. So they'll always stay equal. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Bring this in a bit. Kind of like that. Cool. This is a good shape here. I feel like the tube is almost a little too thin. Maybe not. You know, maybe it's because we don't have the thing at the bottom and we don't have these little rings. Let's add those right now, actually. So if you want to add a ring like that, all you do is you can add in an edge loop, and then you can move it. So however big you want. So like the one at the bottom, it's about that big. And then you can select all those faces by holding Alt and clicking. And then you can just extrude, scale, shift Z. So it won't go in the Z axis, it'll just shift off those. And then you can just create that little cuff at the bottom. And we'll create a few more cuffs up here. There's going to be another cuff. Look up here. We're going to forget that one. I don't know what that is. I don't think that that's even real. No. There's a big tube clamp up here, obviously. So that one's going to be probably twice as thick as that one. So there's a big tube clamp here, and then we're going to add two more at the top just for the heck of it. So rotate. Tube clamp is actually thinner than that block if you look in the picture. So it's about this thin. That looks cool. Select those faces, extrude, then S, Shift Z. About that thick. Okay, so that's the tube clamp. This is starting to shape up a little bit. Then we'll add some extra pieces at the top. So we'll add the one that goes just around the edge. And it looked like there was a second one. We might as well just add this just for the fun of it. It's like a second little rotator cuff right there. And we can do these both at the same time, just by selecting them all. Extrude, scale, Shift Z. And these are a little bit thinner. They're just kind of like extra details, and like that one. So, and we can do a little bit more work here. So maybe these we can kind of do something like this. Just add little details. Z. Oh, right, wrong axis. So we need to be not rotating on X. So Shift X. Oh, scale, Shift X. There we go. So that adds kind of like a little handhold, you could say, like that. Starting to come up. Oh, and then also we can add matte cap down here. I don't know why it's called matte cap. I think it's called material capture or something. but it just makes it kind of look cooler. You can add like a reflective one. I usually found that just the standard one is good, or sometimes this one's pretty good, or this one can give you some cool looks. This one just looks way too shiny. Oh, but I guess if you have like, you know, a shiny metal object, that would be good for that. But you know, this is just while you're actually, you know, modeling the thing. So it's, you know, it's not going to be a final material. All right. Well, let's see if there's any other little details we want to add before we start creating the final object. We have to do a few things and then get that working, and we have to adjust this so it's not just facing straight up too. We'll do that in a bit. Well, I look down here and in this image it doesn't have it, but in this one it seems to have some kind of thing around it, which looks kind of cool. So I was thinking we could just all we could do is we could just select these faces here and then do an insert. So it just creates kind of a lip. And then just select these and maybe these too. Oh, I'll just manually grab these and then we'll just offset them like that, just to give it a little bit more something on the bottom. And there's kind of a circular shape there. So if we want to create that real quick, I guess an easy way to do it would just be to use the sphere we already have. So we can just grab this, rip that out, scale it up, separate it by selection. So now it's a completely new thing. And then we just go in here and face. You gotta flip the normal because you see it turns like the wrong shade. That's because it's flipped. So if you look on the other side, this is the actual face that will get shown, and this is the wrong side. So just go in here, shading, and then you can either hit recalculate if you have like some, you know, like a larger object. But in this case, since we know it's just one face that's off, we can just hit flip direction, and that'll do it automatically. And then you can extrude down. See, it just flipped again because it's all off. Extrude down a bit, and it gives us that little lip, that little extra bit. So then we can select the whole thing by hitting A, and then we can do recalculate, and it'll recalculate it correctly. Which that sometimes won't work correctly, but most of the time it really does. So, and just for the heck of it, we'll make it a little bit larger than it seems to appear in the picture, just because I think it will look better. Nice. Pretty quick model. How long we've been going for? Not long. Get pretty quick at these things. Is there a way to check the time? I don't even know. Let's see, live. Okay, we've been going for 30 minutes. But yeah, but not, you know, not like since we've actually started modeling. It's been even less. So cool. All right, there's a few things we have to do to this model just to make it more performant. So yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. Oh, and I forgot to add the tube in the center here, so we can just select this. We want to scale it in a little bit, because if I just go back like this, you'll see it'll basically it'll go straight through this side face. So what we can do to fix that is we can just create a little bit of an inset, just a little one, and then extrude from that. And I'm not going to go too far back here, just because it kind of wastes a lot of the texture space if you do that. So just go back to where like you won't really see it anymore, like that far. Well, even that seems a little bit wasteful. See, if you actually scale it down, you can make it so it kind of looks like it's there, but it's really not. We'll just do it like this. And if you want, we can add something else on top of that so they can't see it. But yeah, that'll be fine for now. Cool. just so you can, you know, see like at an angle that it's not just, you know, flat surface up there. Obviously, that'd be stupid. So yeah, so I mean, if you look at this, there's, you know, there's all kinds of other little things you could add to this that will make it, you know, more realistic. But for this sense, this is a pretty good scale. So I don't know how much more we'd have to add. You know, I'm thinking that how I have this in my model, I don't know how. I think I'm gonna make these legs a bit longer. So I'm just gonna get room 1 and then just kind of redo this one. So set the rotation back to normal. You can just do it here too. So Y. Nope, not that. X and Y. Okay. Rotation X. 90. I'm gonna make it longer just because I'm concerned. There. And I'm gonna add that little bit in the middle, just because why not? Cool. And then rotate 40 degrees. Duplicate it. Rotate negative 80 degrees. Oh. RZ negative 80 degrees. Oh, and then we have to. No, that's not going to be right, is it? Let's get. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Yeah, I did that all off. Totally off because I forgot to go up to the the top view. That's a problem. Let's duplicate that. Damn it. 40. No. RZ negative 40. RZ 40. Cool. So now you have something like that. Okay, so now that we have pretty much this thing is completed for now. So now we can kind of start to look at how this is actually going to work. You know, when you move it into Unity and stuff. First, let's just give it a little bit of a polishing. So this thing only has a total of like 600 faces, so that's like nothing in the grand scheme of things. So okay, first of all, we're gonna have to rotate this, but the problem is I don't want to have it rotated in Blender because I want to be able to rotate it in Unity where I actually need it. Why does it smell? Does it smell bad up here? It wasn't me. Oh no. Something from downstairs. It's creepy. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to set this thing's rotation point. But first, let's just create this whole thing into one object by doing Control J. So that joins everything together. So now it's all one big object. Whoop. Now, select this. Snap cursor to selected. Whoa. Hold up. You can't do that. Oh, see, because I had stuff selected up there, so I was like, why is that off? Okay. And then, going to origin to 3D cursor. So now that whole thing will rotate off that sphere point. But we want, we want this down here to be able to stay flat. Oh, I just saw a message. Did Bodhi? He might be outside my room. I do have a fan here. No, he's not outside my room. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Not good. Something bad. Something is not right. So, alright, so like I was saying, we have to separate these objects. So, separate these two by selection. So, right, so now this is one piece and this is one piece. So we can rotate this. Another problem is we have to rotate this. So we're gonna have to separate that as well. The best way to do it would have this whole thing would have to rotate off of this center line here. Because if you kind of look, that's the traversing wheel, so that's where that kind of moves up and down. I guess. Not really how it works, but so we can just select all the stuff down here using selection tool. Oh, first we have to move the cursor, right? So this snap cursor to selected. Then we can select everything down here, separate it, and then go field keybind 3D cursor. So now we can rotate this, rotate this. Obviously that's not going to be connected yet, but we can set that up. So let's do that. So this is going to be the caps lock base plate. This one's kind of complicated because it has a few different moving parts. Base plate, tube, bipod. Problem is, I think I'm actually just gonna have these all be in one. But let's just first have this get set up how we want it, and then we'll worry about that. So yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to be rotating stuff in Unity because the problem is I would have to bake texture sets for 3 separate objects when I could just have it all one, because this won't be a skinned mesh. So we need just to have this thing kind of rotated how I want it. So see, that's why I'm concerned this isn't going to go up far enough. See what I mean? That's why we need these legs to go down more, because this thing is going to be kind of firing out of like basically like a hole in the ground. So you know, I can't have it like this, because it's, you know, it has to be kind of within like a little thing like this, kind of an opening. So at the worst, it's gonna have to be like this. I guess they could have it. They could have it stood up on handbags and stuff. So that we could definitely have that. So I think this will actually work out fine. We have it like this. That actually looks great. X a little bit. So yeah, so that'll just shoot right up and out. Cool. All right. Well, okay. So yeah, let's rejoin everything. So Control J. Oop, see, the rotation gets fracked. Need to apply the rotation scale, and then we can join everything to one object. You can set the origin to geometry, so that just kind of goes to like the midpoint of the object. That just kind of makes it easier to place in Unity. And then so this is all going to be one big unit. I don't know the actual scale of this in here because I'm just going to scale it down once it's inside Unity. So yeah, well, I mean, we could check it, because we know that this here is only going to be, it's going to be 8 centimeters. That's this interior distance here. So if we just set this, then we should know what it is. So set it to centimeters. Okay. I think you can measure. I think you can use a measuring tool, but I don't know about that. Whoa, it's like micro. Millimeters. Oh, here. So what we can do to set this so it's the correct. Oh, see, it just became suddenly really small. So yeah, what we can do to set this to the correct scale is we can just create a new, maybe a sphere, and then we can just set the size of what we want. So it's going to be 81 centimeters. No, I'm sorry, it's going to be 8.1 centimeters, because that would be like a huge gun. That's going to be what the size of the interior of that thing is. So then you can just scale this up until it fits. I know it's kind of like a ridiculous way of doing it, but it sort of does work. So we can just kind of see if that's the right size. Scale it up a bit. Does that fit? This is so dumb. Why am I doing it this way? That's the most horrifying way to do it ever. This fits. Yeah, this fit. This look fit. Maybe a little bit more. Oh yeah, that definitely fits. That actually does look like it fits though. Alright, we're gonna say that's good. This is gonna be close. Again, this is gonna be viewed from pretty far away, so it doesn't have to have the scale correct, you know, down to the nanometer or anything. But yeah, see, if we had started with that, you know, then we could have actually made the tube itself, you know, the correct size, and then, you know, everything else after that would have just kind of fallen into place. But that's okay. Oh, you notice something? You can see that comes out. Fix that. Actually, even better. Just rotate this. Save spaces. And we just need to check for stuff that you won't be able to see, so we can just get rid of those sides. You know, like all these stuff on the bottom here, you're not going to see any of those faces. Just delete them. Not going to see any of these. Just delete them. Boom. Now it looks weird, but you won't be able to see those because it's going to be, you know, stuck into the ground. So that's the whole point. What else can't we see? Well, you can't see the bottom of this tube. You won't be able to see that face. I'm going to leave this sphere how it is just because I don't want to mess with it. Technically, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of those, but I think I'm going to leave them because if it's on top of a sandbag or like a crate or something, I think you would see the edge of them because it would just be resting on that. So I'm going to leave that. Oh, we can get rid of the interior face. These two. Get rid of those. You don't need those. You don't need this one. What is this? What is this random ass face? How did that... You see this? This thing got... What the heck? How did that happen? It literally just... Oh, you know what it was? I think I forgot to select that one, so it just kind of got lost. That's crazy. Well, we don't need him anyway, so it's alright. And then this is all one piece. Okay, that doesn't have a face. This can all be one big block. That's okay. That has to have the top face there. You know, there's some wasted space in there. That's alright. This, we can leave that. So yeah, so we pretty much got rid of the faces you won't really see. You don't need those. And then we're gonna do the quick way of creating a UV map. But first, we're gonna apply a bit of a sharpening tool just to make it look a little bit nicer. It just kind of smooths out the edges. It does add to the faces though. Like, look, it went from 630 faces. Add the sharpening, it goes to 3000. So we don't want that, but we can have it, and then we can go into the properties here. We can have it so it only applies maybe one segment. So that only gives you an extra like few hundred faces. You know, honestly, this is going to be so far away. I think we would be better off with just doing a sharpen like this. So now it looks smooth, but it doesn't have those extra rounded edges, because that definitely increases the amount of stuff you have to have. Or we could do it or we could do it the proper way. So if you do have this, yeah, add that. So now it has the nice rounded edges and everything. But what we can have then, okay, then we can just use a texturing thing to make it look better. So see these, I want these tubes here. Don't want those to be sharp. Whoa. Sharpen. So this came correctly, but we don't want this to be sharpened. We don't want these spaces here to be sharpened, so that doesn't look correct. What the heck? Oh, it still has a bevel. How do we get that to not bevel? Yeah, just want it to click off. Click off of those. So that'll look like a smooth tube. See, but damn, then it doesn't. Is there a way to get that to not bevel at all? No. Shoot. Maybe we don't need that. We'll just stick with the old way of doing it like this. It'll look okay once the texture is applied over it. It'll look pretty smooth. So this, obviously we want these. We should have added more selections in here, because now this thing looks kind of goofy. Oh, can't win them all. There we go. That looks a little bit smoother. Oh, this one too. Cool. Oh, and then these have these set sharp. Nice. That looks pretty sharp. I don't know if these are set correctly. Sometimes you kind of have to mess with these if you're using such low polygon count. Oh, yeah, that's wrong. Do one at a time, because sometimes it won't be correct if you don't fix that yourself. So, all right, this is looking a little bit smoother. That's good. Okay. All right, it's all one thing. So now we can apply the scale, apply the rotation, and just get one more time origin to geometry. All right. Well, guys, we did it. Now we'll just call this 81, or I'll just call it 8 centimeter mortar. This is all going to be one material, just metal. I'm not really going to make another like material for anything else, I don't think, because this is going to be seen so far away that it won't really even matter at that rate. This is just kind of like a little thing to add into the scene. So cool. Well, all right, here's the next step. So now that we have this, we have it kind of looking how we want. We can just go in and we hit Smart UV Project. Now this might not be the best way of doing it on the planet, but it seems to work okay for most things. You see how this is kind of just stretched out like that? It might be a good idea to add a second loop just through the middle to kind of make it more squared off. I found that can help when you're adding textures. This is one big tube. Might be a good idea to add a loop or two in here, just to kind of add to the geometry. Maybe a loop here, just here and there, just so it doesn't, it's not just one big side face, because that can look kind of goofy. You add the texture to it. So okay, so now we'll do that again. Now we have to redo this. Every time you make an adjustment on the model, you have to project it. You always have to do that, or else it'll get foobarred. Cool. Yeah, so now this thing is ready to go. Oh, one thing is we can fix the rotation because when it gets imported into Unity, they basically have the y-axis as your vertical axis, and then it has the z-axis as your forward and back. So what you can do is you can rotate it along the x-axis by -90 degrees. This sounds weird, but you do this and you hit OK, and then you actually apply the rotation here, and then you rotate it 90 degrees so it goes back to normal. But then if you look up here, see how it has its rotation is set to 90. So then once you import this into Unity, it'll be kind of like in the right way. So you don't have to mess with it again once it goes into Unity, and that can get super annoying. So that's a pretty good fix. I think you can fix that by doing like the settings and stuff, but for this model, I'm not even gonna worry about that. So this will be totally fine. Cool. This is all flat. This is all lined up. Now I'm gonna have some kind of thing for that to sit on. Or if I'm really crazy, we could just bring the legs in more and then scale them down. And I wouldn't even have to worry about that. But I don't know. I was looking at images and I don't know. See that? Oh, you know why? I think this thing can actually move down. Like, look, like that has a huge gap. See what I mean? I think these things need to be scaled more, and this needs to move down a bit. Because these legs should be able, these legs should definitely be able to reach the bottom. So let's just do that real quick. We don't want to cut corners here. So this is going to be hard to do since the whole thing's already rotated, but I'm going to have to figure it out. I'll just manually grab this thing out here so we can show it the best way to do it. Yes. Just need to make sure that that goes into the ground. We can go to local. What? Oh, it's because it's not. That's a shame. Shame. I'll have to deal with this guy myself. It's gonna get kind of goofy. But the alignment, because I liked how that was rotated, but wasn't in the right plane. Like that. So that will go into the ground just fine. Cool. That looks good. Oh, and then we should duplicate that. And this is going to get even worse. It's not going to be totally equal. Not anymore. Yeah. I mean, in real life, it wouldn't be, you know, completely equal either. So why should this have to be like super laser precise? Yeah. Cool. That's it. these seem to maintain their, yeah, and then, you know, so since I did that, I have to redo that UV projection. See, it recalculates. Oh, and also if you do that, you just don't want to have stretch, correct aspect. Wait. Yes, that's right. Okay. All right. This thing's ready to roll. Apply scale again, just in case. Okay, so yeah, so now we're pretty much done here. So we have to just export him. Oh, we haven't even saved. So if this thing had crashed, we would have lost everything. Always save. Jeez. I have lost some stuff by doing that. So you have to watch out for that, because you can get, you know, carried away in a model and then, you know, hit render or something, and then the thing crashes, and then you just lost everything. All right, mortar. So this will be our save file, saved in the right folder. So that's just the save file itself, and then we're going to export the actual FBX. Selected objects, always have that, or else it'll export everything in your scene, which if you have a bunch of things in your scene, which would not be good. So that, and I'm just going to underline this as export, just so I know which one it is. Sometimes I don't do that, but in this case I'm going to do it just to make it simpler. All right, now let's open up Substance Painter. We're just going to finish this one, and I think after that I'm going to take a break because it's starting to get a little bit late for me. I'm not used to staying up this late. But yeah, I fixed that last week. Damn. We won't have to worry about that, because this is only going to be like a 1K texture, because it's so small. There's no reason to have it any more than that. I mean, honestly, that might even be too much. I know there's a new version. I don't want it right now. Oh, son of a... I'm not going to get angry. I know that's not my right password. What's my password? God damn. See, this is a paid program, so you have to have the license file. I wonder if I gave you the license file, if you would be able to use it too without any sort of problem. We could try it if you want. You know, oh, you know, actually, I think that would work because I only use this on my computer here, and then on my laptop. And I think you can have up to like, I think you can have more than just 2 items. What is happening here? The fuck? This is not my normal screen. Here. At least I have my thing saved here. I have no idea what the password is anymore. Who knows what that is? It's lost. I don't know. I'd have to reset it. Painter here, and then it just basically gives you these license files, and then you can extract them. So from the desktop, extract, and I just looks like I just plop them right into the desktop. But that's okay, because once I'm done with this, I'm just gonna get rid of those, because you only have to have it once per time you have to, you know, reevaluate. So then you can do license file, select a license file, desktop, and Substance Painter. Okay, standard license. So this is going to be good until the 20th, February 20th. So I have a little bit of time. So I have to redo that step. Usually that wouldn't happen. Okay, so then we select a new on the desktop. Yeah, I was going to start with the pack 40, but that one would be a lot more complicated, and it was already starting to get kind of late. So I figured we just do the mortar for now, which is still cool. You know, you can kind of see, you know, how a model kind of takes shape, which I think is good. Okay, so open that. Document resolution. This is going to be, shoot, we could even have 512. Dang. Tempted. Just to save on texture space. We can try it with 512. If it doesn't look good, we can just readjust it on the fly. So this is a pretty nice program. So yeah, so now you can see it in Substance Painter. Yep, and then so over here we just do bake mesh maps. This is all basically muscle memory for me at this point. I've done this so many times. All right, document resolution. We're going to be using this as the high apply mesh. Don't average normals. Into alias times 2 and bake. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, no ID map because we didn't set up multiple materials. That's okay. So you can see it added kind of some, you know, darkened areas. So that's just called ambient occlusion. So that just kind of tries to simulate, you know how light would get you know, like stuck inside there and not be able to escape, or wouldn't even be able to get there. Oh, I just noticed that this cube kind of intersects here. No one will see that. Not a problem. And you can see some of these don't look great. Like some of this has like a weird kind of edge to it. Yeah, that's the problem with having such a low resolution like this for something of this kind of size. But we're just gonna try it without and see what happens. So, do I already have a smart material for this? Celtic soldier. That's not right. Damn, we have to remake it. Well, what do these even look like in real life? They're basically just made out of like steel. Like this. Just like a dark steel with maybe some scratches. So, yeah. So this is steel painted, rough damage, clear coat. This is what we want. So just drag that into the stack, and you can already tell it's kind of shaping up. Yeah, see now it doesn't look as apparent, those lines. You can still see them like this. I don't know exactly what causes that. It's something with when you're UV mapping it, I think. But that you won't be able to see that in the model, or at that distance. You can tell that gets really dark. So this has all kinds of stuff. So the base color. I'm gonna lighten it up a bit. Actually, maybe darken it. Metallic paint. So you want to darken the paint. Oh, the metallic paint uses a little mask here. There's a mask. So that just goes with that. The base color, brighten that up. I don't know what the noise is. Turn that off. Dirt, that's okay. Decrease the roughness here. So that's kind of a shiny look to it. Down a bit. Okay. Looks pretty cool. So you can tell these are kind of shinier. Look at some of the images. You can tell those are a bit shinier. A lot of them just have a clear coat of paint over them. That it's all just kind of one color. So maybe this isn't the best option. Maybe this isn't the best option. Let's check what else we got. Steel gun painted. Oh, that's genius. That's genius. Scratches. Middle edge wear. Bring it down. Contrast. Up the contrast. There, it has some little scratches. The lines are kind of obscured. And then we can bring down the color of this. One. All kinds of things. Lighten it up a little bit. Cool. That looks pretty good. Just kind of a basic mortar. So once we're happy with our textures, you can save this, but you can also save and compact because these Substance Painter save files are really large for some weird reason. So we'll do that. Save the Substance Painter file in case I want to readjust it later. I don't have to redo this step. And then we can go to Export Textures. And I had to set up my own version because if you just use the Unity 5 standard metallic, for some reason it won't export the ambient occlusion map. I don't know if they fixed that. Nope. Why don't you export the ambient occlusion? I don't know. It's not an option. It's not a part of that one, so I had to make my own that basically has all the same things, and then it also has the ambient occlusion. See, I added that slot. That's actually pretty easy to set up. And then just make sure it's going to the right place. So, mortar. And yeah, and I usually make a new folder and just call it textures. Just so it's not all in the same file, or the same directory. Just kind of makes it a little bit easier to keep track of. Okay, export. So now if you look at our folder here, you can see you pretty much have everything you need to set up an asset in Unity. You have your actual 3D model here, and since you can also have multiple 3D models that have different levels of detail and stuff. But for this one, since it only had like 600 faces on the whole thing, and it's not even going to be able to be seen at more than a relatively close range. It'll basically just disappear at that point. So this one only has to have one model. So that's this here, the export. And it has your files, your save files. It has your reference images, which you won't need once you go into Unity, but those are what I used here. So that's what I have there. And then you go into this new texture folder we created, and then that has all the different things you need to create your material. If you want to look at these, they're actually kind of cool to look at because you can kind of like you can see everything. So you can see this is obviously the plate there at the bottom. So that's like this, and then so this is essentially like a grayscale map that just has set up your occlusion zones. So it'll have kind of a subtle sort of shadow around those areas, which is really cool. And it makes it look pretty nice. Yeah, see how this looks kind of junked up. Yeah, it's because of how I exported the textures so quickly like that. But for this, it's okay. You can see the normal map. This one doesn't really have much of a normal. Actually, doesn't have a normal map at all. It just has some kind of stupid lines. Maybe that's why it's kind of jacked up. What if you wanted to disable normals? What God said. So yeah, that kind of fixes it. That fixes those big lines because we don't even need that for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to re-export anything, but when I you know, have the whole the material and stuff set up in Unity, I'm just not even going to use that one, because if you look at this, it's not really having a whole lot going on. Now this is your metallic smoothness, so this basically says which parts are going to be more reflective. So if you look at this one closely, essentially it's another sort of grayscale. So the areas that are in white are going to be way more reflective. Like you can tell that these parts here have more reflection. So if you look in the map, you can see that's like probably like something like this along the edges there, and you can see everything else as kind of like a modeled, you know, look, and that's because of what we're using. That's this smart material here kind of makes it so it has a little bit of kind of, you know, variation and stuff, so it doesn't just look like one big, you know, smooth surface. So it looks cool. So that looks great. And the other one, so we have the missing one. Oh, we don't have an emission map because there's nothing that's going to be having a light, so don't even worry about that. And then so this is the albedo map, which basically is just your colors. So, and this one, it all just, you know, looks, you know, it almost looks exactly the same as the other maps, or the metallic map, because the only color we're actually even using in this model is just this kind of a modeled gray color. So yeah, so that'll work like that. Cool. And if you wanted to get fancy with it, you could go and manually paint some things in here. So you can do this. So you can add, how do you do it again? Add paint. And basically you can, is it delete? Add paint, scratches, paint. Size, what's the opacity? Physical paint. That seems to get rid of it, doesn't it? We don't want that. We want, oh, the scratches is a black map, is a white. So that determines where it doesn't have scratches, I think. So we want to be painting with white. See, so that makes so obviously that's wrong. And I don't know why I'm using physical paint. I don't know how to use that version. No idea. I've never done that, ever. Let's just go back here so it keeps that. Great. And then you can set your parameters. So yeah, grayscale, have that. And you can set kind of like, this thing has all kinds of, mostly you're just going to use like a grunge, and look for one. They even have these like things you can actually apply. It's really cool. We won't use that though. So we can just use like a random like grunge, something like this. You can kind of create. You can use stuff like that. So just kind of create some scratches and stuff that looks kind of worn down, maybe at the front. There's more grayed look to it. And yeah, I'm not the best at doing it this way, but it's kind of cool. Oh, am I painting the opposite again? Am I doing opposite lamp? Grayscale, invert, on. Yes, I was doing opposite. You might want to tone down the opacity. The size too. Opacity, down. Then you can go in here and you can add like these little dints and stuff to make it look like maybe the front got kind of blown off a bit. looks more shined up. I don't know. It could look cool. Could add them like on this, a little bit more here. Just add to the shiny effect. So you can do all sorts of stuff like that with this. It's really cool. For some reason, it seems like I lost my grunge texture. I don't know that. You know, I think it's just because this is at such a low resolution. Balance. What is the balance? Oh. I have no idea. Contrast. Oh, you can affect the contrast. Oh, okay. See, it kind of makes it. Hold on, I have an idea. Whoa. I don't know. I'm not the best with the hand painting stuff. I'm more good with just, you know, making like a procedural thing like that. That actually looks kind of sick though at the top. Looks kind of like it got a little bit more at the top, got kind of beaten off. This doesn't look good here. I don't know why I did that. Get rid of that. Alright. Well, maybe the inside we can make all shiny. For sure. Increase the opacity. Maybe get rid of the grunge map. Because you want the inside to be shiny. At least around the edge so you can sort of see it. Cool. So yeah, you can do all you can do all sorts of things with this. It's really interesting. So yeah, we can give it another export because obviously we switched stuff. So save and compact. That saved it. Export textures again, and it should save where you have it sent and your configuration. So you just hit export again, and it will just set everything up automatically. So these will just basically get reset to here. So if we open it up again, you might be able to see something will change in how those look. See. So if we go to the default, the metallic smoothness, you can see here. So this is essentially where that changed the actual texture set. See this right here? I think that's part of it. See, that's kind of like the end of a tube there, and you see how that part got kind of lightened up. So that's basically where that sort of switch stuff in the model or in the texture set. So yeah, cool. Oh, I don't have Unity. Oh, shoot, I should have opened Unity beforehand because it'll take a while to open that up. Wish I could show you just how to put it together. Well, hold on. We try opening something. If we open something out that doesn't have to connect to the cloud, it won't take as long to open. Open. The dungeon one. That's not. I don't know what's gonna be in this. We can see what it is. Who knows? I think this was something I was working on. I was testing out like a loot system. So you could like loot stuff out of crates, and then you could like equip items, and you have like a user kind of interface for all that, which is kind of cool. I think I was also working on kind of an improved combat system from what I have now. So it's more like you can actually aim for their head and stuff, and then you can, you know, do different types of damage to them, which is kind of cool. So you can see, oh yeah, all these guys are still here. The gang's all here. Give this a play. Oh, you son of a... Tricked me. It was a cloud build. That's okay because it doesn't have a whole lot of you know, files in the actual project, so it won't take as long to check for changes. but if I had like tried to actually open up my World War II one, you know, since it just has a lot more stuff in it, this can take like a couple minutes. So I didn't want to have to make you wait. Well, if you want to see what this does real quick, it is kind of cool. So you just start in this empty world here. I think it's E. Yep. So armor chest, and oh yeah, I forgot. This is actually really cool. So, and then you can see what these are. So helmet, and then you can basically, you can take these things. Shirt, there's all kinds of cool things. But I'll show you how it works. Boots, chest armor, pants. So now this crate's empty. Now over here is tools. So I think I have a torch. And usable, these are examples. But there is a sword and a shield. Oh, I forgot how cool this was. And a knife. Okay, and then, so let's say I go over here, just to kind of change the lighting. You can actually see the lighting, and this is really great. I spent a lot of time getting this right. So look here, so headwear. Hello world, I am an item. That's just an example. So you can put that on your head. You can see shirt. So this side here is for your first layer of clothing, and this is the second layer. This is pretty smart stuff going on here. I did this a while ago. Pants, and I think I have boots as the bottom layer. So then, and then there's, you can actually put helmet, armor, so leg armor, and you can see it's reflective, so it kind of looks like steel plate armor or whatever. Helmet that goes on over that, so kind of cool. Oh, and then so this is your, it's kind of like Minecraft, you know how you have like a shield slot, so that equips your shield. And at the bottom, this is your, wait, how's it go? No, these are your usables. So that would be something like food, something like that. And these are your weapons. So you can equip up to 3. Yeah, sword is just a big block, but you know, you can equip up to 3 different objects, shall we say. And the animation, I think this is actually using a procedural system. It's not even using the animation system. I think this is the slash is. The slash is using an animation. And you can't strike with the shield up. That's a glitch. Well, it's not a glitch. I just hadn't made it like my other one. But this is very, very simple. And if you scroll, you go through these. And if you use the number keys, you switch your weapons. Oh yeah, the torch. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of cool. You can light up everything. But you'll see what happens when you hit someone. This is where it gets great. So, yeah, it glitches when the blood spawns at first. But, yeah, and I kind of went crazy with this. I don't know what I was thinking. But I went crazy. So, this would be so cool if this was in my other game, too. Something with the blood. I think that thing I got is glitched because it creates a lag spike. And it's even worse in my other game. So, I actually turned it off for a while. But, yeah, you can see this is extremely overly bloody. And the thing about this is you do have to hit them in the correct spot. So if you keep hitting them in the body, it's just gonna keep like attacking them. But if you aim low, it'll go for their legs and it could cut it. There's a chance, but I think I have the chance set so high that it almost always does it. And the head is likewise. And then it's cool, I have in the 3D model, it kind of has like a little thing you can see. It's kind of like a bone sticking out, which is kind of ridiculous. This guy's head still has his head attached. Not anymore. So yeah, this is just ridiculous time. But it's interesting. You can do. Oof. It even sticks on the walls. Forgot about that. Brutal. But anyways, let's get back to the tutorial. Enough of the excitement. So yeah, this was pretty cool. And I think I'm going to be using some of this stuff in my new game. I'm not going to be using like an equipment thing like this in the new game because it's going to have a different sort of system of how you can get upgrades. But in any event, let's set up that mortar. So we go here, models. So I have a model folder here. And we can just drag and drop because you can do that with Unity. So that's kind of nice. Oh, not Minecraft server. Omaha. So we're just going to drag this whole folder in. I think it copies it. Does it? I don't know. Find out. Yeah, it does. Great. Okay, so now see we have that folder here. Has all the same stuff. So first things first, you want to set up your material. So you just go create material, just call it 8 in order. In this case, it doesn't matter. And then so this is where you set up your maps. So you have albedo, that's the color, metallic, that's the shininess, normal map. Like I said, we don't need that for this model, but that would go right here. And then you have to hit fix for whatever reason. But like I said, we're not going to use it for this one. This doesn't do anything. And then, the ambient occlusion map goes in here. And you can set the intensity of that, but I usually setting it to 1 looks pretty realistic, or maybe a little bit less. Then, basically from here, you can just straight up go here. See how it creates a second one? So that is the one that is. This is actually technically the Blender save file. It basically creates this in here, and it adds all kinds of stuff you don't want. Like it adds like a basic animation and an avatar. I have to fix how that works, but basically you want to drag this one into your scene. Looks like our scale is off. Maybe I had it to millimeters, not centimeters. But in any event, that should just be a factor of 10, right? Oh, whoa. Never mind. That's a factor of 1,000. Or maybe the scale in this scene is different. I don't know. Well, we'll just set it up so it looks right. I don't know how big these mortars actually are. Kind of like this big. Then you can obviously rotate it. So it's kind of fitting in place. Yeah. We'll see how that looks. Maybe rotate it a bit. That looks pretty good. So then obviously all you do, so you already have your material set up here. So then you just find your object in the scene, you just drag that material. So obviously if I drag it on here, that's going to change, but this isn't set up for that. So just drag it on here and then you can see it set up correctly. That's actually really dark. I might lighten it. But you can see it has all the little details and shininesses. The top is kind of shinier on there. It's kind of hard to tell, actually. It's really hard to tell. You can see it's a little bit shinier and it gets less shiny and dull. But yeah. And if you play, obviously if you hit play, you can inspect it as your character. So, and there's no collider attached to this thing. You just walk right through it. But yeah, you can see some of the little details in the texturing and the lighting kind of affects it. This is actually big. It's kind of scaled up. But yeah, so that's pretty much how you go from, you know, Blender to Unity. So I hope that was at least a little bit, you know, kind of helpful to get like an idea of, you know, how it all kind of, you know, works as one unit, so to say. You can go in here and you can adjust this manually, but wouldn't recommend doing that. I would just recommend if you don't like how it looks in your scene, like right now to me this looks too dark. Since we still have substance open, we can just go in here and we can manually adjust this. So I'd say lighten this whole thing. Lighten it up. I would say this could be less reflective and that would be the most reflective. Roughness. That, oh, there we go. So then you have some scratches on the legs, and then that at the top looks pretty shiny, like it kind of got, I don't know, like the paint or something kind of just melted off or something from the heat of the explosions from the mortar tube firing. The bottom, oh, you know, we could add, just because we're here, we might as well just do this. We can just add this, make that shiny. This whole thing shiny at the bottom here. Give this some shine. Shine bright. It'll look kind of tacky, but maybe not. It'll look cool. This a little bit. A little shine it up a bit. Shine her up. I want those things looking shiny. Looking new and shiny. Sweet. Now let's try that. So then, see, you know, since you still have everything set up here correctly, all you have to do is you just hit export textures again. Now the problem is that this is going to be pointing towards the incorrect place. This is going to be pointing to the desktop, but our stuff is actually in that Unity project. But that normally wouldn't be an issue if you actually created the folder inside of a project first. Then you could just hit export and it would just automatically go. Like you could just hit export here and then that would just automatically re-update all those texture sets. But we have to just point it in the right direction. So we can just do this. Open show and explorer. So this shows you the path. Copy address. So you go into substance and then paste address. Oh, did I copy that again? Paste. Oh, I did, sorry. I screwed up. You want to copy this address. I guess you could type this in yourself, but I find it easier just to do this. Paste. Then it goes into the models. Oh. Select folder. Oh shoot, why is this effing up? Maybe it doesn't let you do that in Substance, I don't know. We'll just have to find it. Do this. I know what it is, so it doesn't take too long to navigate to. But I guess you could have done that, but I don't know. And then select that, textures, select, export. So now it'll happen really fast. See, it just popped. See that? Just automatically updated. And then you can see how now it almost looks too bright. But that's the kind of thing you have to adjust. You can tell that that's more shiny. It looks like the shininess is kind of goofy. So it's not picking up like the sky, the reflection of the sky is sort of lighting not been updated in a while. I don't know. Doesn't look right. Let's just say that. It's updating the lighting. Do we even have a reflection probe? We got to, because look at everything else in the scene. Should cancel that. Screw it. Half-baked lighting. Where's the reflection probe? Reflection probe. Intensity. Yeah, it's working. Okay. I'm convinced. It's just too dark. Just the steel itself. The steel itself is dark, and then it has basically a paint applied over it. The steel, the base metal. You want the base metal to be bright. And then, oh, I'm sorry. The base metal should be a bit darker than that. Not too dark. We're gonna have that problem again. The scratches should be lighter. That's why they weren't showing up properly. These should be way brighter. And it looks off here, but when it's in, it'll look a little bit better. Let's just try this. I just want to see how that looks. That's why it wasn't looking right. Okay, yeah. So now obviously it looks too much. We can tone it down. Or another thing, if you don't want to go back, see like this doesn't look right. Like I would have more of it be kind of like messy looking. Top looks kind of cool though. But see, this almost looks too bright now. But what you can do is if you don't want to go back, you can adjust the smoothness here. You can just make it like a little less smooth. So it's kind of like a grittier. Well, actually that's not the best way to do it, is it? You can turn down the whole brightness of the object with this, however you want. So yeah, that's a way you can do these kind of things. So this will be pretty cool. I'll definitely use this in my other project because it'll be seen from really far away, and it just looks like a mortar basically. Cool. See, it's all reflective. Oh, and it looks like the lighting fixed once you go back into play mode. I think it just goes back to what it had previously. So yeah, nice. Nice. All right. Well, that's it. Looks like it's 11. We've been going for almost an hour and 30. So great. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. I got one of these models done for next week. I want to see what I have to do by next week. I have to do this tomorrow. I have to get all this done. I have a few different things I have to finish up here for next week. So at 62, I have to get some more emplacements done. I have to do that 75 pack in a field position. And then this is something else I have to add I think I just had to rearrange some stuff, keep wood in cover. And then I have to add the MG Tobruk mortar. We just did that. So I can use the mortar in the field position and add some sandbags and stuff around it, which I already have made, so that'll be easy. This is a casemate. It's another gun. I might just reuse that one, but it wouldn't look the same. Or I can reuse the one I have in the other one. Look better. Some assorted objects there. Those are pretty simple bunkers, just kind of like a shape that you'd see from the top, like not anything on the inside or anything. 5cm gun, casemate, pack. That's the same pack up here, so I just reuse that. So that's only one model. A villa house intact, and then once I create that, I'll just kind of destroy it, use that. And then I have to do a little bit of scripting work, so got my work cut out for me tomorrow. So all right, well, see you later. That was pretty fun. All right, see ya. I'm gonna end it.